Hi everyone, good evening. Yeah, hi everyone. Yeah, sorry for a bit late. Let's start today's class. Yeah, hi everyone. Hi. Yeah, hello, hi. Okay, okay. So yesterday's part was all about NumPy, right? We learned about various NumPy functions and like how to basically perform all the operations in NumPy. So today we will learn about yet another library on Python, and that is Pandas. Okay, so let's begin. So Pandas is a package for data manipulation and analysis in Python. The name Pandas is derived from the econometrics term panel data. Okay, so basically from panel data, the word Pandas has come. Now Pandas is basically the work is to do basic data manipulation and analysis in Python. Alright. Pandas incorporate two additional data structures into Python, namely Panda series and Panda data frame. Now only in Pandas using Panda commands you can add extra data structures into Python. Like what are the data structures that you already had in Python? They were list, tuple, set, map, dictionary. These were all the data sets, right? So due to Pandas, you have two more data structures extra. They are the data frame and another series. Okay, we will learn about them one by one. So please update GitHub link. GitHub link is updated. Like the GitHub link which I provided to you, every notebook is there in it. Okay. The rest of the people, I think they are getting it. So you also should be able to get that. Okay. So this data structures allows us to work with labeled and relational data in a very easy and intuitive manner. These lessons are intended as a basic overview of pandas and introduces some of its most important feature. Why use pandas? The recent success of machine learning algorithms is partly due to the huge amounts of data that we have available to train our algorithms on. So nowadays, what is the trend that with increasing time, the amount of data that you have for any particular work is also getting humongous. Like for example, if you take the early 2000s, we used to communicate using the mobile SMS, right? Or pagers, or some old school techniques like letters were much before, but mostly emails, and emails were just coming at that time. So how much data could have been processed in those mediums? Very less as compared to now, when we use much and much more data every day. We consume much more data every day, and we also give much more data every day. So in today's scenario, this case has been such that we don't use the term data anymore. We use the term big data. Big data is used in today's like official purposes and all. We don't store data in hard disks or anything. There are data warehouses for storing data. Okay, so yeah, okay. So in other words, you can name the indices of a Python of your Panda series anything you want. Another big difference between Panda series and NumPy ND arrays is that Panda series can hold different data of different type. So what I during NumPy ND arrays, during teaching that, I told you that in a NumPy ND array you can't use different data types in one ND array. You could use that in list and in pandas. Other than that, you can't use it anywhere. So different mixing of data types, you can't have that in NumPy, but you can have that in Panda. Okay, so in Panda, what series? Panda series, keep that in mind. Okay, any questions you can just ask me, like any questions depending upon the concepts that I'm teaching. You can ask me that question, I'll try to clear it. Okay, now in other words, you can name the indices of your Panda series anything you want. Another big difference between Panda series and NumPy ND arrays is that Panda series can hold different data types. Now, we have to import pandas using import statement in Python. Import pandas as PD. Okay, so the basic first command of using any library is to import it. You have to import a library, otherwise you can't basically like work with it. So import pandas as PD. First I'm doing this. Let's create a panda series. For that we just write pd.series. So the function, the basic function for writing panda series is pd.capital S series. Now items equal to pd.series data comma index. For now we just name the series object in a variable named item. Fine, no problem in this. Let me change one thing. Okay, so this was the syntax. Okay, this was the syntax. What items equal to pd.series data comma index. That means if you are trying to create some series, suppose you, some series, then what will be the basic syntax for creating a panda series? It's pd.series data comma index. Clear? Bhavya, I have already told it twice that GitHub link is properly working. Please check it. It's working for everyone else. It should also work for you. Which one is better, NumPy or Pandas? NumPy and Pandas, they have, see, if you comparison between libraries was never the goal, okay, of the library developers. They built different libraries because in each and every library, the commands that are there are very different. Okay, the commands that are present in pandas, it like the work that do the work the pandas functions do, numpy functions cannot do that work, and the work that the numpy functions do, the panda functions cannot do that. Okay, fine. So item equal to pd.series data 15 5 no, index equal to chocolates chips milk. So I'm going with my syntax, and that is pd.series data comma index. So I'm giving my data equals to 15 5 no, and index equal to chocolate chips and milk. Okay, so this is what it is. Then I'm printing the item. I'm printing the entire series. So chocolates 15, chips 5, milk, no dtype object. As we see, the series is displayed as indices of the first column, ANS data in the second column. Okay, so the data that you have is printed in the second column, and the indices that you have is printed in the first column. And below that, your data type is being written. Like what is the type of the data, like of panda series. So panda series is a object data type. Now I told you, I must have told you this concept, yet I'm repeating it again, that whatever data type or data structure that you are using in Python, it's a class object. Like suppose integer. So integer is a class in Python, and if you are defining an integer variable, then you are basically defining an object of the class. Similarly, suppose take a data structures list. List is a class of Python. If you are creating a list variable, then you are basically creating a list object, the class list object. Okay, so similarly here is also the type that basically item is an object of panda pd.series. Okay, okay. Now as we see, the series in is displayed as indices in the first column, ANS data in the second column. Okay, now attributes of the panda series. Let's see some of the attributes of the panda series that helps us to understand our series. Item.shape gives us the size of each dimension of the data 3 comma blank. Now the concept of 3 comma blank I've already explained to you earlier. What it is, when we are usually using any one dimensional array, then we keep the second part as blank. That's the indication that we are using a one-dimensional array. And in the first place, we give the number of elements that we are having in that array. Okay, so we have 15, 5 and no, and so the number of elements is 3, and hence the first variable whatever you have will be 3 comma blank. You will leave it as blank. Cool. Fine. Let's execute this and let's see what happens. So I'm just executing this. Then item.endDim gives the number of dimensions of data. Now you can from here easily understand it's a one-dimensional data, and so an item.endDim will give 1. Item.size is the total number of items in the array. So its result is 3. Okay. Any doubts? Any doubts about this Python part? Okay. Item.index gives us the list indices of the series. Okay, so now I told you that in Panda.series there are basically indices, and corresponding to each index there is the data. So the indices are chocolates, chips and milk, and dtype is object. No question in this? Yeah, see, after executing also is coming the same thing. Index, chocolates, chips and milk, dtype equal to object. Item.values, array 15, 5 and no, dtype equal to object. If you are dealing with a very large panda series and if you are not sure whether an index level exists, you can check by using the in command. Suppose you have a very large panda series and it's not possible for you to view it properly, like using manually. Okay, so there is a method to check whether a particular index level exists in Python or not, like in a panda series or not, and you can check that using the in command. So we check whether bananas is a food item and index in groceries. X equal to bananas in item. We check whether bread is a food item and index in groceries. Y equal to chips in item. Okay. So the indices that we had, so we are basically checking whether a particular label exists or not. We are checking the existence. So x equal to banana. So what will the result? The result will be something with a Boolean value, that is either true or either false. Nothing in between. Okay. So is bananas an index level in item? False. Is chips an index level in item? True. Fine. Accessing and deleting elements in Panda series. Now let's look at how we can access or modify the elements in a Panda series. Okay, I think there might be some background disturbance, so just like cooperate a bit because like I am in my hostel right now. If there is any problem in hearing my voice, you can just ask me which part you missed. I will surely repeat it for you. Okay. Attendance link, you will not get it now. Okay, so don't ask about the attendance link again. We'll get it when time comes. Accessing and deleting elements in Panda series. Let's look at how we can access or modify the elements in a Panda series. One great advantage of Panda series is that it allows us to access data in many different ways. Elements can be accessed using index levels or numerical indices inside square brackets, similar to how we can access elements in NumPy and D arrays. Okay, Since we can use numerical indices, we can use both positive and negative integers to access data from the beginning or from the end of the series respectively. Fine. So 1 by the index levels item chocolates, it's 50. So let's execute this and see what is the result. So 15 is the answer, because here when we are printing the series, we had chocolates, like after that corresponding to this label index, it was 15, that with data was 50, right? So yeah, that's it. And next part is, now when suppose a list of indices is passed for accessing the items, then item chocolates comma milk, a list of indices is passed, like two indices are passed, and it's basically chocolates 15 and milk is no. So yeah, you get the clear thing. And d type is also object, because I told you the reason why d type is object. Now suppose we don't want to access our panda series like this, and instead we are accessing by the numerical index. So the first element I wanted, not any particular index, but the first element of the series that I wanted. So item 0 first element is 15, item minus 1 last element is no, and item 0 comma 1 list of numerical indices chocolates 15, chips 5, d type object. In order to remove any ambiguity from whether we are referring to a leveled index or the numerical index, Panda series have two attributes, LOC and ILOC. So the attribute LOC for the location and is used to explicitly state that we are using our labeled index. The attribute ILOC stands for integer location and is used to explicitly state that we are using a numerical index. Okay. Now item.loc milk chips, milk no, chips 5, d type objects. Now item.I, let's execute this and see first the LOC part, then the ILOC part. Chips 5 milk no, d type object. Item. Let's see the series again. Chocolates 15, chips 5, milk no, d type objects. Now pandas is also mutable like numpy ND which means we can change the elements of a panda series after it has been created. We can change the data by reassigning the value item milk equal to yes and item. So we are running this. Chocolates 15, chips 5, milk yes, d type object. We can see that our series is now modified. Okay, so the accessing part and the modifying part you have just now seen, and I guess it's clear to you. Now after this part there comes the deletion part. Once you have access and you have added, you can obviously now delete things. So deleting values from the panda series, you can also delete items from a panda series by using the dot drop method. Series.drop label method removes the given label from the given series. Okay, and also the item.drop chocolates. So basically I'm trying to drop the index chocolate. Okay, so chips 5 milk yes, and I've dropped the chocolate part. As we see, the chocolate item is no longer present in the series returned by the method. However, this drops element from the series out of place, meaning the code will just be returned the modified series and actually didn't change the actual series. Okay, so there is the case that the element is dropped and the code returns the modified series without changing the order or any other object of the actual series. Now item. Now again we are printing the item. So the chocolates must be present here. So you have seen here we are getting the chocolates again. So that means that when you are using drop, the pandas will return the modified series only at that time, but it won't change the series or modify the series on its own. Like it's returning the modified series, not changing the series actually. So that's good in a way and also bad in a way. So depending upon your usage, you will try to justify it. So if you want to modify the actual series, you can do in two methods. One is override the return series on the original one, or use in place argument and set it to true. So there is a very good argument within drop, that is in place. What does in place do? If you set in place equal to true, then the original panda series will be modified. Okay, so let's try the second one. So that's obviously the better choice, so we are definitely trying the second one. Item dot drop chocolates in place equal to true item, then we are printing the item. As you can see, the item is dropped from the original series. Okay, now see the item chocolates is dropped from the original series. Arithmetic operations on Panda series. Just like with NumPy and DIS, we can perform element-wise arithmetic operations on Panda series. Now we will look at the arithmetic operations between Panda series and simple numbers. So the first kind of operation is the operation between Panda series and simple number. So let's make a new series, that sweets equal to pd.series, data equal to 10, 5, 7 and index equal to candies, donuts, laddus. Then sweets. So candies 10, donuts 5, laddu 7, d-type int 64. We can now modify the data in sweets by performing basic arithmetic operations. Let's see some examples. Sweets plus 2. Now what are we trying to do is, we are adding numbers to the data in the corresponding to the indexes that we have. Okay, so basically 10 plus 2, 5 plus 2, 7 plus 2, that's it, nothing else. Okay, if anybody is not able to understand, he or she can obviously ask me. So then sweets minus 2, the same thing, like from here 2 is being subtracted, sweets into 2, the same thing multiplied by 2, and sweets divided by 2, it's being divided by 2. Okay, so I guess no problem. So let's run all this. I haven't ran it. Yes. Everything is executed up to now. Now here it is telling that we can also apply mathematical functions from NumPy such as square root. Import NumPy as np, np.sqrt sweets, candies 3.162278, donuts 2.236068, laddus 2.605751, d-type float 64. Okay, so that's it. Pandas also allows you to apply arithmetic operations on selected items in our sweets list. Okay, so if you want to apply arithmetic operations only on selected items, then also you have the option. Like suppose if you don't want to apply the arithmetic operation or any numpy operation on the entire numpy on the entire panda series, then you can also do it selective wise, like suppose element wise. You can also perform the operation on certain elements within the panda series. ठीक है, so np dot power sweets comma 4, and we are just like just changing the sweets value, so it will be 10 power 4 and the rest of the values is all same. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Hello. np.exp sweets, now the same thing with the esp function, nothing new, so the result will come almost the same. Now this is the same thing that I talked about, that you can also apply arithmetic operations on specific elements and also on the Pandas entire series. So if you try to run this, just see, only the candies version will be subtracted and your result will be 6. Because 10 minus 4 is basically 6. And switch donuts laddus into 3, only the laddus and donuts will be returned to you after multiplying it by 3. So one is 15 and another is 21, because 3 into 5, like 5 into 3 15 and 7 into 3 21. The previous values were 5 and 7. Okay. So item in now another thing. So let's use the series we made earlier. Okay. Now the earlier series that we made, item equal to pd dot series 15, 5, no, index equal to chocolates, chips and milk. Uh, Item chocolates 15, milks 5 and milk here is no. So d type is object. Now if you have item into 2, then since multiplication operation is defined for both strings and integers, the code does not return any error. Okay. Now you have to understand one thing, that the multiplication operator, it is both defined for strings as well as your integers. Suppose a string hello, and if you multiply it by 2, what will be your result? The result will be hello hello 2 times, that is hello and hello, that will be your result. Okay, so yeah, that is it is. And since now we are trying to do item divided by 2, now since the division operation is only defined for numbers and not for strings, the code will return an error in this case. Okay, so you will get an error in this case. Now Pandas data frame. Data frame is a two-dimensional object which holds rows and columns and can hold values of different data types. We can create a data frame manually or by loading data from a file. Now data frame, you know, is a two-dimensional object kind of thing. Okay, that contains rows and columns and can hold values of different type. Now the different type holding property comes from the pandas. Nothing new for data frame. And it contains both rows and columns, so it's basically in form of a data frame structure. Try to understand it. We can create a data frame manually or by loading a data file. Now we will see how to make a data frame basically. Attendance link बना देना एक. So let's first create a data frame manually. So we are first creating a data frame manually and we are then trying to see what is basically happening to it. So item Shaurya pd.series 250 15 70 100. Index watch, toys, glasses, shirt. Ashish pd.series 120 50 90 and index are pants, books and toys. Okay. So I use the same format for series. This what I did is I am creating a dictionary format. In dictionary you had a key and corresponding to key there is one index. So yeah, so basically Shaurya is the key and first key and Ashish is the second key. So item is a dictionary for two people containing some items and the cost of the item.
Therefore, right? Therefore.
Now we can create a data frame by passing the dictionary to the data frame function. Okay. So we had already created this dictionary item It was basically like a dictionary of Panda series, and cart equal to pd dot data frame item cart. So we are basically like executing this thing, and I think before executing this I need to execute this also because I haven't executed this. Let me execute it first. Yeah, now it will be okay. So it's in the form of like data frame structure. So this is the like a format of like collab. You can just make it more beautified version, nothing else. So there is a Shaurya key and there is a Ashish key, and corresponding to each there is a Panda series. Okay. Uh, Wait a minute. Fine. So now you have to make sure that to capitalize the D and F while calling the data frame function. This is a very important thing for data frames. Like the syntax you must remember. For data frame, the for D will be capital D, and like for the frame, it will be capital F. Now, what is basically the mistake done? Like I have also done the mistake quite a number of times. That is when I like entire program I ran about data frame. Then in one place I just wrote it in small caps, and for that the entire error was coming. So for that purposes you have to be very careful of the spellings of your built-in function. Okay, and so data frame is one of those spellings that you have to be careful about. The data frame is displayed in the tabular form. The row labels for the data frames are built from the union of the index labels we provided in the series, and the columns labels for the data frame is taken from the keys of the dictionaries. The data frame has NaN values because for Shorter we have no item like books and pants in the dictionary we provided, and similarly we have NaN values for the column Ashish. Okay, NaN means basically none, like the value is not available. So that means the value is blank. If your value is blank, it's represented by NaN in Python. Okay, so yeah, attendance link I'm providing it right now. Those who haven't filled, like, please fill up the attendance sheet for day 4. Okay, just wait a minute, I'm giving you the attendance sheet. So when I write code in just wait a minute, in PyCharm I just directly do import pandas and not pd, and not write pd dot. Is this both right? Yeah, you no, like, see, just you have to keep the concept in mind that before using pandas you have to import it. Okay, before using pandas you obviously have to import it. Otherwise, Python, the installed packages will not be installed in your notebooks, first of all. Second of all, you have to after importing it you have to initialize it with a variable. Like suppose for your case we have used pd, so they are the variables that you need to initialize pandas for, right? Thirdly, pd dot in, like, in bracket whatever it is, like first of all pd dot bracket syntax is wrong. Like there must be pd dot series then brackets, or pd dot data frame then brackets, but pd dot just like that does not happens. Okay, so yeah, three things. And you can write code anywhere: PyCharm, Jupyter Notebook, Colab, VS Code, anywhere. Just the thing is that in some IDs you might not get the, like, notebook format, the notebook part, and basically you will be scripting. So take that thing in mind. However, like if you use famous or popular IDs like VS Code and PyCharm, it provides the notebook option and you can have the same experience of notebook there also. Okay, fine. In above example, we provided the dictionaries that clearly define the index labels. However, if we don't provide the index labels, then the data frame would use the numerical index values. Let's create the same dictionary without the index labels. New item equal to Shaurya period or series 250, 15, 70, 100. Ashish period or series 120, 50 and 90. Now make the data frame using the new dictionaries. df equal to period or data frame new item df. Okay, let's run this. So basically what I did is I removed out the index labels and I am just using the same series without the index labels. If I don't use the index labels, Python will automatically create numerical index labels for them, like it created in this case 0, 1, 2, 3. Just try to note the difference. So here you had all this and here you will have only numerical labels, not this books, glasses, pants, shirt, toys, watch. They won't be present anymore. Okay, so yeah. So if you have just filled out the attendance sheet form, then it's good. Otherwise, it's my request to quickly fill up the attendance sheet form. It will be your attendance for your day 4. Your attendance will be recorded. And you have to make sure that you give every day's attendance to get the final benefits of this bootcamp program. If you have any questions, you can ask me about the content or anything. And I guess it's also getting quite late. So if you have any questions, it's okay. Otherwise, I will just close this live stream in a few minutes. Okay, so I guess there are no questions. Okay, so somebody is asking about projects. See, projects we don't discuss it here. Okay, there. So for that there's a different procedure. You may ask it in the WhatsApp group. I think that would be clear that. Okay, okay. Thank you very much. We will meet on the next day. For today, bye bye. Stay well, and let's meet on the next day. Okay.